Hi, YouTube. How's it going? I just wanted to do a quick short on a little life hack. Okay. If you find yourself in lack mentality around something that you wish you could do or wish you could buy or wish you could, I don't know, something like if you come across something and you're like, I don't know, maybe you've always wanted to, I don't know, go someplace like, I don't know, throw something out there like Egypt, right? For me, for instance, I've always wanted to go see the pyramids, and I will, okay? But it's easy to really kind of get caught up in lack, like, oh, I wish I could just do that. And then you go into your brain likes to connect to all the things that you can't do if you're holding yourself in that space of, I can't do that right now, right? Whether you put right now on it or not, right? So if you find yourself in that place, that is lack when you start thinking about the things you don't have that you wish you did, okay? What you want to do is it's not that you can't think about those things because you want to find some kind of pragmatic way to plan for them, right? Got to take action. But at the end of the day, first you got to think about it a little bit. You just don't want to think it out of existence with all the loopholes and what could go wrong or this, that, blah, blah, blah. Most of the things that we really are called to, that we want in our lives, we could make happen faster than we think, okay? However, it may not be in alignment with the path that we're on in the moment. Could I drop right now and fly to Egypt this weekend? Absolutely. I could. I'd make it happen. Maybe not responsibly, right? I could throw it on credit. I could take a loan. Or I might have the money in my account and I could just do that. However, maybe that money I'm allocating to other things on my priority list right now. So this is why planning can be helpful. We just don't want to plan it out of existence, right? We don't want to sit so much in the energy of thought that we're not taking any actions towards. Because if we're not taking any actions towards, like maybe setting up a specific account to save, put a little bit aside and save money there, it's kind of like that idea of $5 a week is never going to break the bank, right? It's usually not until you see how much it's accumulated that all of a sudden, oh, do I allow myself access to that or do I wait and let it continue to feed the plan, right? It's a whole tangent. But in any case, most of the things that we want, we could make happen a lot sooner. But we want to make sure that we're prioritizing in such a way. So it's not that we can't have it. We don't want to throw ourselves in this box or this construct. This is going to be more than a short. Sorry. But we don't want to limit ourselves. And that's what we tend to do with the programming we feed ourselves, right? Or maybe, well, my family never traveled, so that's not for me. Or I'm content with this lifestyle, so I don't have to, whatever, because maybe that's what keeps other people happy. Or maybe that's what we think keeps us happy, but it doesn't, because if it did, why do we keep thinking about wanting to do this, right? I hope that makes sense. If it's something that you're called to, then it's your soul saying this would bring you joy on some level, right? But we are often taught that that's selfish. You shouldn't do that. Or other things are more important, or other people are more important, or whatever. You are important. So if you're really called to do something, don't look at yourself from a place of lack if you can't make it happen right now, because can't is kind of an illusion in a sense. We can make things happen. We just have to say no to the things that don't allow us. However, we do want to be responsible. Everything in life is about balance, right? So I absolutely could go to Egypt this weekend if I wanted to. I'd make it happen somehow. But it's not my priority. So instead of seeing it from a place of lack, like I can't do that, it's not that I can't, it's that I'm not allowing myself to because there are other things that are more important to me. When we reframe it, even just a little bit, it's less lack and more of, but if it keeps coming up for me, then I definitely want to make that a priority at some point when it makes sense. Okay? Because otherwise, you're left with regret if you never take action towards something that has always been one of your like bucket list items or something like that. So at some point you do want to put it on the table that says, all right, this is a priority. Let me take pragmatic action towards this. Sometimes other things come up that we reprioritize. When we do that, though, we want to make sure that we're not throwing ourselves under the bus, because sometimes it's other people's priorities and not ours. All right. If I end up saving up, I don't know, say I want to redo my kitchen, I save up like 50 grand. Okay. And I know I've been saving up that money to redo my kitchen. And then all of a sudden a family member says, oh my God, I'm short, or I need this or whatever. Can you help me out? Well, that's fine if it's not like a pattern, right? Because some people just live off of other people. And I'm not talking just financially, energetically, you name it. It's like, it's always someone else's job to solve their crises, okay? It's not. Sometimes you got to let someone work out their own problems, because otherwise they'll never learn how to, okay? And that's a hard thing to do when you love somebody. That's a hard boundary, but it definitely speaks to self-love, because your kitchen matters too, especially if it's something that you have wanted for a really long time. You took action, you saved the money. You do not have to put a roof on someone else's house and forego your kitchen, especially if you know that person isn't going to appreciate it to the degree that they probably should, or that they have no intention of ever paying you back, or they don't appreciate it because people have always done these things for them. Now, it's not everyone's situation. It's not. And sometimes we feel good when we give. That's the only way to give, in all honesty. If we're giving to get, then that's control. If we're giving freely, in the hopes that it's a reciprocal relationship or whatever, that's another story. But at the end of the day, never give what you're not willing to not receive back. Even if it's a loan. Never loan someone something that you can't live without. Because if you give them that and they don't return it, the hope is that if someone says they're going to, then that they will, but it doesn't always happen. So never loan something that you are not willing to part with permanently. That's all I'm saying. Because sometimes people just, everyone's out here, freedom of choice. It doesn't mean they're evil or terrible human beings, or it's just sometimes life happens, right? So just something to keep in mind there. But at the end of the day, you are more capable of creating the changes and the things in your life that you are looking to do than you probably give yourself credit. So if you allow yourself to really think it through, like, honestly, if I really wanted to go to Egypt this weekend, how could I make that happen? Maybe the answer is you really can't. But that doesn't mean you can't in a year, right? So if I really wanted to change the timeline, if I really want to go to Egypt so bad in my lifetime, when and how can I make that happen? You're not as in lack as you think you are. The universe has infinite resources. It's usually our own thinking that limits us. Okay. However, yes, responsibility balance comes into play. So it would not be overly responsible of me to just pick up and fly to Egypt this weekend. It wouldn't, because then I'm going to forgo other things that I have prioritized above it. But it is important to come back to those things so that you're not forever prioritizing other things above it. And then before you know it, you never went. Okay? Life is about that balance. So, and it's not selfish to want to go someplace or to have something that makes life easier for you. Those aren't selfish things. People will tell you, especially if they're envious or jealous or they wish they did those things themselves. People are people. People are people out here. Okay. You can't take it all personally because everyone's on their own journey. And, I mean, no matter, you could live, quote unquote, a perfect life and people will still judge you for it because that's a projection. Again, don't take it personally. Easier said than done, I know. But you keep working on you, keep creating your best life. And what was that meme? It says something like, figure out what you want in life and then say no to all the things that keep you from it. Something like that. It's a point, I mean, it's not, life isn't all or nothing like that in that sense. So yes, there are some things that we have to work with and compromise a little bit here and there, but make sure compromise isn't always on one end and doesn't mean that you're sacrificing everything in order to compromise to make other people happy. Because some people will never be happy. They just want. All right. And it's not your job. It's no one's job to make other people happy. Because at the end of the day, it is all our own job to make ourselves happy. And then to share that with other people. But not allow them to siphon that happiness from you and keep you stuck. All right. Now, that's not for everyone. Well, it is in a sense because we all know people like that, but not everyone is susceptible to that. Some people have got really good, strong boundaries. They've learned these lessons already. If you're struggling with them, then this information's for you. Okay. All right. Well, what was going to be under 3 minutes, wordy. It's now 12 minutes. So I'm going to get off now. And I'll talk again soon. All right. Have a great one. Bye.